Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Village Law SEQFC preview show. My name is Darren, and come on, the Matildas! Very exciting how they're going. Great win on Monday night against Denmark. Can they keep going? That's the big question. We've got some guests coming on tonight. Well, we'll talk about the Tillies at the end, but we've got a few guests, but there's some local league stuff that we've got to get through first. And our guests are coming in as the show occurs. I've got just one with us at the moment. It's a good guest. His name is Fabiano Navas. Is it Nava? Nava.
That's it. Yeah.
All right. And he is from Braza, a club that we've spoken about on this show many times, but we're finally get to put a face to the club. Hi, Fabiano. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you with us. As I said, we do talk about your club on a regular basis, so it's nice to have a chat and we'll get to know all about you. So, tell us about the club in the past few years. You were playing in the, what was the competition? There was an independent league that you were playing in for a while, wasn't there?
We played Metro League. So the long story short, we started as a group of friends playing 4 years ago, and we organized ourselves in a way that, look, let's go and play a competition and see what we can do. So the first entry for anyone in Queensland is the Metro Leagues. So we played the Metro League for 3 years. And last year we applied to get a license so we could play FQPL. And the entry point for us is the FQPL 6. And even though we still don't have a clubhouse on our own, we are being co-hosted by the guys from Pine Hills in Bunia. So it's been a partnership happening. I think it's the third year that we are together, and they have been super nice to us, and we are bringing the results. So I think they are pretty happy with us as well.
Yeah, so we're actually starting our show. Normally we start at the very top, but this week it's the FQPL 5, where you are on top of the ladder. You're FQPL 6, sorry.
6, yes.
FQPL 6. There's 2 rounds to go. You're 3 points ahead of Logan Village, 5 points ahead of Logan Roos.
Yes.
2 rounds to go, and you've got ACU this weekend and Logan Village in the final week. So it could be all to play for in that final week.
That's the cliffhanger that everyone dreams about, right? That's it. That's all gonna be played on the last round. So we were just talking before the show started. So we went to the ladder and we have a look, and Logan Village away as the last game. That's gonna be a game that, if anyone it likes football, come and watch. It's gonna be a great match. It's gonna be a great atmosphere, and it's gonna be some really good football.
So tell us about your home games. You're playing at Pine Hills. Do you get much of a crowd to your games?
So this being our first season, I would say that we've been very successful on that because every game has the under-23s just before the first team. So we usually get the family and friends from both teams to hang around and watch both games. We getting quite a few people coming around last weekend, actually, on our game against Park Ridge. I was there doing the fan research, trying to understand how many people, what do they do, trying to understand what the members are. And we got a 85 people crowd watching the game. So that was a pretty good turnout.
Good stuff. How does it work with your relationship with Pine Hills? Do you run the canteen on your match days?
No, it's all Pine Hills. The operations and the profit that comes, the income that comes with it, it's all Pine Hills. Yeah.
Right. So how does your club make its money then?
So nowadays, through sponsorship on the jerseys, we're starting the first clinic of futsal on the 4th of October on the north side of Brisbane, with the kids between 6 and 12 years of age. And we also have the members. So we have 2 membership tiers that we are getting slowly but steady. We're getting new members every weekend.
Okay. So without wanting to pry too much, what are Pine Hills covering for you? Obviously, there's the ground maintenance.
Yes. So there's the ground maintenance. They cover the fees with Football Queensland. Our players play directly Pine Hills, and some of this fee comes back to Braza in order for us to be able to maintain our physios, our nutritionists, our website, and all the digital marketing that we do. And Pine Hills also help us with anything and everything that we need in order of our operations on a day-to-day for the facilities.
Okay. And are Football Queensland happy? They comfortable with this relationship, or are they expecting that in future years that you do actually find your home ground?
Yeah, so that's the plan. So Football Queensland, so the first conversation we had with them about it was, look, that's okay. You guys can be in partnership with Pine Hills, but that's not sustainable for the long term. We need to get like our mini roofs playing. We need to have the females playing. We need to have the juniors playing. And by being co-hosted with Pine Hills, it doesn't allow us too much for the training grounds, right? A club can be just as big as its facilities that are available for us to do the training on a weekly and on the weekend games as well. So Football Queensland has always been very good with us and supportive in a sense that they gonna start helping us to find the new location. So if they hear about anything that's happening or anyone that's looking for help or a partnership, they try and put us in connection with. One of my roles, together with the president of Braza, is to identify new tenders from the government and apply for these tenders and try and find the clubhouse. Our plan is to get a place within 12 to 18 months.
Are there any restrictions on where you would go? I mean, given that you're at Pine Hills now, is Braza a Northside Brisbane club?
That would be our first priority, yes. But like beggars can be choosers, right? If it comes down 6 months that we can't find anything on the north side, you're gonna have to start moving south and see what we can do.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So how far is too far? Could you play in the Sunshine Coast League?
Yeah, look, we want to be in Brisbane, so that's our goal. So I would say we would go as south as Football Queensland allow us to play the Brisbane League, and in north in the same sense. So we would like to be in the Brisbane League. So I think for us it would be too hard to move to a Sunshine Coast League. Nothing against them, but like players, families, and being organizing facilities and all the fans, and now that we're getting a fan base as well, to move these people to the Sunshine Coast, that would be a mission for us to do it. So it's pretty much starting from scratch. So that's why we'd like to stay on the Brisbane region.
Sure. The Brisbane Brazilian community, it's quite large, isn't it? I mean, I work next door to a Brazilian restaurant, and at every lunch hour, it's packed. People outside the door lining up to get their lunch.
We are a big population in Australia. I think in Brisbane, we are, I think, the third or the fourth biggest student community that happens here. So when you come from Brazil, you obviously want to go out and learn English. So you have a few points that you can go. You can always go to the US, which is next door. But like there is more Spanish speakers than English speakers, and people tend to go to where it's more comfortable. Or you can go to the UK, but it's the weather that's like, we Brazilians from a tropical place, we want to be where it's warm. And then if you have a look in the Capricorn tropic, like it's pretty much what we have here in Australia. So it makes the perfect sense. And Brisbane being a place that is in a huge expansion. I've been here for 17 years, and since 17 years ago, it keeps growing on and on and on. So Brisbane makes the perfect sense, and it's a perfect place with so many good things to do.
Sure thing. All right. Okay, so let's look at that ladder again. So you're on 42 points. Logan Roos, they've had a really good season after holding up being at the bottom of the ladder last year. You've obviously played against them. Why have they been so much better this year?
Look, I didn't follow them last year, but what I can tell you from the game that we played against them, it was a home game, and it was another cliffhanger. Like, it was down to the last minutes. They have a very, very strong back line, and I could see on the midfield when they start building the gameplay from there. It was a very tough team for us to compete and stop them before they get to the top guys. I don't remember the names and I apologize for that, but the right winger, it was one of the guys that impressed me the most by his speed and the way he could control the ball. So definitely they deserve to be where they are. Hopefully they maintain the second position and us in first, but they are a very good team.
Good stuff. You may have seen there that everyone's favourite Englishman, Scott Harding, has joined the show. G'day, Scott.
Hello, how are you?
All right, kicking back there, are we, mate?
I am, mate. Yeah, sorry, I was busy doing a couple of other things. I'm here now, though.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We was having a bit of fun with Fabiano. All right, so let's move our way up the ladder. Seeing as we've got you now here, Scott, let's have a chat about that FQPL 4 ladder.
Yes.
Brisbane Knights, they've got it in the bag. It's all done. Springfield are in second place. The promotion place beckons.
Well, yeah, it does. We actually play Knights this weekend, and it's going to be an interesting game, that one, obviously over at Rockley. Last time I saw them play each other at Springfield, it was a very, very good game. It was close. Knights got up 2-1 in the last couple of minutes, and it was a decent end-to-end game. Do you know what I mean? I do think Knights, obviously, now they have the title, it'll be interesting to see how hard they do push. Does that make sense? And I mean, obviously, you've got 3 or 4 clubs still in it. I mean, there's some big games. I think Carina play Moggle. There's 3 or 4 really, really sort of 6-pointer games in that league still to go. So, irrespective of that Springfield Knights game, there's a lot of teams still in the mix, I think.
Yeah, definitely. We actually have a guest from a Moggle lined up to come on tonight. So we might just leave it at Springfield there and possibly when we get our guest, we'll come back to that competition.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, so we had the Kappa Super Cup on the weekend. Congratulations to Gold Coast Knights getting up 4-2 over Olympic. Scott, did you check out that game at all?
I didn't get to see it, unfortunately. I did hear about it, though. And look, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a big gulf between the 2 teams at the moment, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So 3 rounds to go in that competition. Gold Coast Knights have a 5-point lead. So I'd make it if Knights can win this weekend, the league is theirs. Almost.
Right.
Almost.
If
Yeah. Gold Coast would need to win to keep things going. All right. Olympic, 3 points. They need 9 points, which will only get them to 22. Oh, geez. Anything other than a win. Redlands pick up a point. Redlands survive. Olympic are down.
Mm-hmm.
All right. NPL women. Where is that NPL women? Here it is. Lions on 62 points. Peninsula Power and Easts are both on 53 now. Peninsula Power have been holding down 3rd place for most of the season. They've now crept into 2nd place, so they're making their charge. Won't be enough to get them the premiership, but it's going to set themselves up very nicely for the finals. FQPL 1 women, Brisbane City have smashed the league. South West Queensland Thunder in 2nd. We discussed that in quite lengthy terms last week. FQPL 1, Surfers Paradise have a 4-point lead with 3 rounds to go over Wolves. And in the FQPL 2 women, North Lakes United, they are promoted. They are the champs over Ipswich Knights. Caboolture in 3rd place. Grange Thistle in 4th. And FQPL 2, Broadbeach United are champs. They've actually lost a game. Oh, that one slipped me by. St. George Willawong in 2nd place. Grange Thistle in 3rd. We might have Glenn Vokers on the show next week. Magic United are now in 4th place, cementing their place in the top 4. All right, whilst we wait for just a little bit of action with our guests, I want to quickly have a chat about the South Coast League. Southport have a 5-point lead. They are 3 matches to go. A lot of teams have a 5-point lead with 3 rounds to go. So Southport's been a fantastic effort from this season. Robina are in 2nd place, 5 points behind, obviously. Kingscliff another 6 points behind in 3rd. So it's a 2-horse race in that competition. Looking at the Southern Coast League, Caloundra have got the jump on the rest of the league. They're now 5 points ahead with having played one game extra over Mumbai. It was a 3-point lead. Sorry, it was a 3-horse race, but Caloundra did beat Noosa on the weekend, which puts them out of the competition. I'm pretty sure Noosa might even be playing Mumbai this weekend. So a chance for Caloundra to take out the competition. Now, the question is, if Caloundra do win the league, will they go up? What do you reckon, Scott?
I think they should. Yeah.
Good.
Well, I mean, I'm actually, it's funny you should mention this. I'm looking at, I go up to Caloundra quite often, and I'm looking at potentially buying some property up there. I'll be spending a bit more time up there, hopefully. So I'll know more about that the more time I spend up there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, Maroochydore going up this season. They were the team considered most likely to make a fist of it in the FQPL 2 competition outside of the Fire and the Wanderers. But it looks like they're going back down. The women's competition on the Sunshine Coast is really interesting. Maroochydore have a 1-point lead over BGs, with Noosa in 3rd place. Looks like it's now a 2-horse race. It was a 3-horse race just a couple of weeks ago. So Maroochydore in the box seat there. Now, Darling Downs, Willowburn are on top in the men's competition. 1 point over St Albans, who beat Rockville Rovers on the weekend. Rockville are now slipped back to 3rd place, 3 points behind top. Willowburn do have a game in hand. So 1 point lead, 1 game in hand, and I believe that's over Highfields, who are holding up the bottom of the table. The Darling Downs women, looks like Willowburn have made their charge as well. Willowburn Whites are in top on 39 points. Highfields Gold, who've been leading for most of the season, are still there. They're on 39 points, having played 1 game extra. Goal difference is favouring Willowburn in that competition. All right. And it was Caloundra who beat Noosa and Mumbai who beat BGs in that Sunshine Coast men. All right. Fabiano, I'll bring you back in here, mate. With the Metro League, Metro FQPL 4, FQPL 5, FQPL 6, are you keeping an eye on the other leagues as well?
We are keeping an eye on SQPL 5. So we want to know and understand what are our chances. So we are good friends with the Yeronga guys. So we have been following them closely on what's the promotion updates on their side and how well they are doing, how well they have done last year as well. We play our summer competitions with them. So we got invited to play on the FIFA Fun Festival against them as well on the 3v3 at South Bank. So it's FQPL 5. It's definitely one that we keep our eyes close to it.
Yes, and just looking at that league, Bard and Latrobe are now equal with Yeronga on 40 points. So, Yeronga were in front, and they've let that slip. They still hold the lead on goal difference by 4 goals. FC Oldbridge 5 points behind in 3rd. Scott, you got an opinion on this league?
Wow, this one's really, really tight, isn't it? I love this league. There's 5 or 6 real goers in this league, but I think. Yeah. Don't count Oldbridge out. Oldbridge is still, they're in the mix. They're in the mix here. They'll have a bit of a say at the end of this season, but I don't know. I still favour Yeronga slightly, I think, over Barden.
Yeah, look, I think they have a very, very strong attacking mid and the final 2 in front of the opposition goalkeeper. So I definitely keep my eye out for Yeronga. I like the way they play football, their style as well. So they were promoted last year. So that's the first year on FQPL 5, and getting to that league that strong, that says a lot about the team.
I do think that FQPL 6 is probably one of the hardest leagues to get out of. And once you're out of that, you do tend to find there's been quite a few clubs that have gone from 6 to 5, then 5 to 4. And it's interesting. It's happened 3 or 4 times now that we've seen.
So from last year, it was Yeronga and Ridge Hills, right?
Yes, that's right. Right.
And Ridge Hills it's mid of the table nowadays.
Middle of the table at the moment. They've had a good season. But I think that, very often you'll find that getting out of that bottom league is the key, because it's so random down there. It's very, very hard to get a handle on FQPL 6 a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's the entry door, right? So when you go, so our story that I was just talking to Darren before, it's when you apply to get a license to play Football Queensland Premier League, that's the first step you have. It's the 6th league. So you can get strong teams that are just starting, that clubs that are just forming, as well as teams that have been in tradition of being playing for ages, and then something happened of FQPL 5, and then they get relegated to this league, and then becomes all this mix. So it's very interesting. It has been a very interesting year for us to understand the standards of the competition, the teams that we are playing, and how loud some of the supporters are as well.
That's certainly true. You've been to Logan Village, have you? That's lovely.
Now that's our last game. Yeah, Village. Yes, we have. Now Village is going to be our last game. It's the last game. We are 3 points ahead, and it's going to be like one of the best games to watch.
Oh, I think so. Yes, I think so.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. I think that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, fantastic. Might come down and have a look at that one. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, in 2 weekends' time.
Yeah.
Scott, I'm just looking at the FQPL 3 Metro Women Ladder, and Springfield United are holding down second place there, just over Toowong. Actually, they've jumped them.
Yeah, they nipped in front of them last weekend. Toowong had a bit reversed against Southside. And I believe Toowong have Sanford this week, who are going to wrap the league up. And then it's going to be a question of how we go against North Star, who we're away at North Star, wherever it's Zilmere. So that's going to be really interesting to see how we end up there. There's potential that we could go into that last game against Toowong for the season at home, hopefully just having to hold the mat, and then second's ours. But that means we're playing Gold Coast. So that's going to be quite the event, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Just park the bus. Do you know what I mean? Park the bus, hope for the best.
Looking at the FQPL 3 Metro Men Ladder, we did have a guest from Newmarket on tonight, but his wife is pregnant, and today is the due date. And we were hoping to have him on the show and then have his wife scream out that it was time to go to the hospital, but didn't quite happen. Anyway,
Didn't quite get the drama. Didn't quite get.
Would have been great drama. But Bayside, of course, have got that league wrapped up. Pine Hills are in second, Virginia United third, Centenary Stormers. They've steadied over the past few weeks and are holding on to fourth place there. UQFC, Redcliffe Dolphins. Can't really see North Pine getting in there now, but might just be a little bit too far behind there with only a couple of rounds to go. So
who's in danger in that league?
Of going down.
Mm.
Western Spirit are gone. Acacia Ridge in the box are in the firing line, but North Brisbane are 3 points ahead, having played an extra game than Acacia Ridge.
Right, okay. So it's close.
And possibly Mount Gravatt could get dragged into it as well.
Yeah, it looks like in QPL 4, it looks like it's the Gap and Brighton are in trouble, basically.
Yes, I'll just have a quick look at that ladder. Yes, so that's definitely the case. Logan Metro.
Yeah.
10th place. That's not something that we normally expect to see.
I tipped them. I'm pretty sure I tipped them for top 4 at the beginning of the season. I was completely out, obviously. I don't know what's happened there. But yeah, I don't know how they're that low. Honestly, I really don't.
Big surprise. 2 rounds to go there. They have a 3-point lead over the Gap. And it's a race in 3 for the final 2 places to go down.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's our wraps of the leagues. I had about 5 guests lined up for tonight, folks.
What's happened?
I don't know.
But I'm the main attraction. There's a real problem, you know?
It's the World Cup. It's burning everyone out.
I think it is. How do you feel it's going?
The tournament?
Yes. Are you enjoying it?
I think it's fantastic. There's something about the matches that's I've been trying to put a finger on it. You know, you'll get a lot of people who will talk about, anyone who's a snob about women's football will talk about the lack of quality. You know, and then they'll refer to the fact that the women competing against, say, an under-16 boys team or under 15s, and they'll get beaten. And that certainly was the case for the Matildas in one of their trial games. But the fact that it is two well-matched teams up against each other, the technique is still there. I defy anyone to tell me that Mary Fowler's assist for Caitlin Ford wasn't one of the best things that you've seen this year.
Yeah, that
It
was a
fantastic.
Absolute quality.
great pass.
Yeah. And the French last night, they absolutely dismantled Morocco. Morocco's defence left a lot to be desired, to be honest. But French showed a lot of quality in that game as well.
That second goal was unbelievable. The one that she's hitting, it's just gone in off the post. That was a good hit. I mean, there's some good goals in there. Yeah, Morocco got a bit of stage fright, obviously. And there's the cultural issue with France too. Obviously, there's a lot of ties there. So I think there's a little bit of, because it was France, there was a lot more on the line for them than there normally would have been, I think. But they did very well to get to the last 16, Morocco. They did extremely well.
Fabiano, what's your take on it? Obviously, with Brazil out of the competition.
Yeah. So look, one thing for me, it's similar to what's happening. Like it's happening a revolution in football, right? So all the African countries, they are coming to the top level now. I think this year is the last year that you can call like Nigeria and Morocco being on the stage that they are now. That's a surprise. You can't do that anymore. If you go back, even on men's football, a few months ago, Brazil lost to Senegal, right? So you have all these African footballers becoming like a revolution, and by the entry of starting playing in Europe through France, starting playing on the English leagues, that's elevating the level of football. And I think it's amazing. It's a great thing for everyone. I have to agree with you. Like, if anyone says that the lack of quality on the women's football is there, they are dreaming. They are not watching football like it with the proper eyes. The quality is there. The speed is there. The strength is there. It's a very dynamic game. It's happening every time, and it's getting as well to the level that, like, it's not 5-0, 10-0 anymore to 3 or 4 countries now. It's getting a big mix. Having US being eliminated by Sweden, which it's not a big surprise, but it's still a surprise. They still the world champions. You get Canada, who is out, and you get the ins of Morocco and Nigeria. I've watched Australia and Nigeria at Suncorp, and the quality of the football from the Nigeria left side was unbelievable. Like, from playing from the back and building up the game all the way to the winger and the crosses. You can't fault it. It's super good.
I watched England get absolutely run ragged by Nigeria there for
Exactly.
2 hours. I was going, they're going to blow themselves out. They're going to blow themselves out. It didn't stop. They didn't stop. No, they just didn't stop. And you go, they were very unlucky to lose that game. And I mean, even watching Colombia last night, that assist for the goal, you know, the switch ball from the left back all the way across Usme was unbelievable. That technique. You know, how
amazing is that? Like, I wish we could. It's very hard to watch those games, right? If it's not on a world stage like a World Cup. I was mentioning to Darren before as well. Like, in Brazil, you have really good players. Cristiane still plays in Brazil on the top level. She's 37, I believe, and you can't watch her. You don't know where you can watch it. There is no way you can search. Even if you go on YouTube, you're gonna find 1 or 2 videos for like 3-4 years ago. We need to give them more space. It needs to be broadcasted more often.
I think this will happen, though. I think that we're starting to see a gateway into the country now. I think it's going to happen. So it'll be very interesting to see the legacy of this tournament. I mean, we put on a good tournament here. We always do. Doesn't matter what the code is, we do a good job here. But the fact that Matildas are doing so well, and the fact they are advancing so far into the tournaments, is only going to be a good thing for the legacy of the game in this country.
I agree with you, but like one thing, if I can be a little bit controversial here, is like, how come we are hosting the World Cup here and you cannot watch on the open to air TV?
Yeah, I don't
It's
understand
like
that.
just you have to pay $25, and but how about the kids? It's all about the kids, right? The kids get smashed with TV every now and then. They need to be able to watch it, even if they're not picking it up and watching it. That's how we promote. That's how we expand.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't understand the deal that was made. I mean, look, it's great that Optus are doing the coverage they're doing, and they are actually doing a good job with the coverage that they got the good presenters, good commentators. They're doing really well, but it should be free to air. Do you know what I mean? It should be free to air. It's just it's a no-brainer.
100%. I totally agree with you. I think the more the merrier.
And that's the thing, that's not on Optus. That's on the free-to-air channels for not bidding.
It is completely. I don't blame Optus at all. I think Optus do a good job, but where are the 7s, 9s, and 10s of this world? You know, what are they doing? You know, unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. And especially Channel 10 with Paramount Plus, and they seem to be making football a thing. For them to have not bid for it just blows my brain. Fabiano, I want to ask you a question, a cultural question here. When Brazil get knocked out of a tournament, how do Brazilians feel about the other South American countries that are still in it? So if, let's say, Argentina was still in the competition, would you want them knocked out next round?
Look, I think here we open our pathways, right? So if it was men's football like the last World Cup, no one in this household here could support Messi and the team, right? Even though I appreciate like he being the best player in the world and he deserved it, and for all the legacy and everything that he has done, but you're not allowed to support it. If it was on the female football, yeah, let's go with it. Like the Women's World Cup. Like here at home, we are Colombia now. So
right.
Colombia.
Yeah, I'm not shocked at all. Everyone, to be honest, it's anybody who's not English is going to be Colombian. This is the way it's going to be.
Of course, you love Australia.
Of course. We're the New Villains of the tournament now. The Americans are gone. We'll be the New Villains, you know? That's okay. That's all right.
Yeah. So, yeah, but look, we are like Argentinians are the closest ones that are our archie rivals in there. That those are the ones that like in any Brazilian household, like we went to above the party on the weekend, and then this little boy, 9 years old, comes in dressed up on a Messi kit, and like the grown-ups are like, no, I don't want to talk to you, don't want to meet, don't say hello to me, that's not how we do it, you know. It's for fun, but it comes like with our cultural heritage. Yeah,
of course. Yeah, it's the same with the British, with like England, Scotland, Ireland. I can assure you, Scotland and Ireland would support any other country except England. Generally, any other country. Martian invaders, they support them ahead of England.
All right, guys. So, who do you think's going to win this World Cup?
Wow. I've just got a feeling Japan are going to do it. I do. I really do. I just think that they look technically excellent, accurate, fit. They run teams ragged. Do you know what I mean? I'd love Australia to do it. I really would. I think France might be a step too far. I really do. My head says that. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love an Australia-England semi. That'd be absolutely amazing. But yeah, I think Japan might do it.
What about you? For me, the winner comes out of Australia and France. The one that wins that game, it takes the tournament, I reckon. No offense to the English people.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's gonna become too strong. If Australia beats France, it's just gonna, you know, it's gonna be massive. It's gonna be exponential, like the amount of support and the noise everywhere they go. The noise they made it in Sydney when it comes to the final there. If Australia gets to the final, it's very, very hard to defeat the Australians playing the home ground.
I worry about Lasome and Diani up against Kennedy. I really do. I just think, if there's a 10 that drifts wide and pulls Kennedy out of position, that's what worries me a little bit. I watched them do that against Morocco. Morocco aren't the same quality as Australia, of course, but you watch the Nigeria goals where Kennedy and the goalkeeper were not in sync with each other. And you look at it and go, France can see those spaces. That's what worries me.
Yeah, I do agree with you, but I'd love to think that it was like a one-off and then they have learned from that. And the same with Sam Kerr, right? So she played 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure that now she's going to play even more than only 10 minutes. And then when she gets in front of the home crowd, she it's hard to find a player like Sam Kerr. Like, she's good. You understand what she's going to do, but she's always pull a trick out of nowhere and then she just blows everyone's mind.
She walks into every team on that planet. She walks into every other team. She does.
So I think if she's fine and fit the way it's shaping up that she is, even though like the Australian defensive is not the strongest one that we've seen on the World Cup, I still reckon she can pull it through.
I mean, the thing is, people in this country, they look at Sam and go, she's the talisman. They forget about Caitlin Ford. Caitlin Ford is a very, very good player. Do you know what I mean? We saw that the other night. She's an incredibly good player. That's the dangerous thing. If you're a foreign manager and you're looking at Sam Kerr, how to stop her, you forget the other quality that's around her. It's not just about one player. Do you know what I mean? Like, you watch Jamaica and you go, if you stop Bunny Shaw, you generally stop Jamaica. But Australia and Jamaica, there's big differences between the two of them.
Yeah, like Australia played like three games, almost 4 games without Sam Kerr. And they had they slipped one against Nigeria, but apart from that, they played really solid football. It wasn't like amazing to watch, but it was pretty solid football. You see, like, man, they are coming through, they are getting together, they're gonna get through. So it's pretty solid.
Absolutely. I suppose the other thing for the tournament experience, I think Japan, I'm right in saying Japan are the only side left who've won a World Cup. I think all the others haven't won a World Cup. So you look at this and go, how many of them have made semi-finals or a final? I think England have made a semi-final, Holland have made a final, but the others haven't really got that experience of being at this stage of the tournament, really. Do you know what I mean? Beyond here, at least. I mean, Australia got quarterfinals, France quarterfinals. Whoever wins that is an uncharted territory, really. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
All right, guys, we might end the show there. Thank you very much, Fabiano. We would, believe me when I say, we would not have a show without you tonight.
There was a Braza show.
It was a Braza show. Impressive.
And thank you for joining us as well, Scott.
That's right. Late cameo off the bench. I'm sorry I was late.
Cameo. That's it. Sam Kerr bench appearance.
That's exactly right, yes. Except less anticipated.
Just before I go, I just want to mention to everyone out there, with this World Cup, look up the Fox Sports, the US Fox Sports advertisement for the US women's team.
I saw it. Yeah.
Find it, track it down.
Unbelievable.
But it beggars belief, doesn't it?
It's just that exceptionalism, isn't it? I mean, look, they got horrible shock, didn't they? Let's be perfectly honest with you. Got horrible shock. The world has caught them up. It's only for the betterment of the game. So they'll learn, they'll come back. They'll be very strong again in the future, I'm sure. Yeah, that's it. All right, guys, that's our show. We will see you next week with maybe a few more guests. Absolutely.
Thanks for week's SEQFC preview show. See you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm ending it. I promise I'm ending it. There we go. Have I ended it? I probably haven't ended it.